Harper Audio presents Beasts Royal, 12 Tales of Adventure by Patrick O'Brien. Read by Robert Hardy. Number 1. Shark number 206. Number 206 was a tiger shark, a long, lean man-eater, the terror of pearl fishers and coral divers. When he was very young, he'd been taken out of the sea in a net by a scientist in the Ichthyological Observatory, and a ring with the inscription TS 206 on one side and the observatory's address on the other had been fastened in his gills, and he'd been entered in the books as shark number 206. Since then, however, he had had time to grow into the huge fish that was known as the devil by the native pearl divers of the island of Waitoa in the South Seas. The lagoon in which the pearl oysters bred was not very well protected by its storm-battered coral reef, and at high tide the sharks could come in with the rollers as they went over the half-submerged reef. The ground sharks and the bottle-nosed sharks could easily be frightened by splashing, or at the worst they could generally be kept off with a long knife, or if that failed they did not usually kill their victim, but only took an arm or a leg. But neither splashing nor a knife could deter a tiger shark, nor would one ever be contented with an arm and give the wretched man a chance of life. They would take the whole man, leaving only scarlet water behind. Number 206 was particularly dreaded by the pearl divers. He would not stop for anything, and always got his man. He would rise up from the oyster beds like the shadow of death, and if once he reached his victim, the man was dead. He did not stay in the lagoon of Waitoa, however, as there were many other sharks, and the divers were very cautious. One day when a whaler called at Waitoa, 206 followed it as it left and fed on the scraps which were thrown overboard. The 20-foot man-eater was not proud, and he would eat bad salt pork or potato peelings with the humblest dogfish. He would often eat the humble dogfish, too. Number 206 was always hungry. He would eat anything, including tin cans. Given time, he could digest them, and even thrive on them. The only time that his immense appetite was quite sated was when the whaler, which was in luck, caught 3 great sperm whales. They were towed along by the ship, and 206, in company with a host of other sharks, fed long and full, and the 2 little pilot fish which guided him to his prey became fat and slow. The whaler, however, sailed south until she came to the icy Antarctic seas, where the great whales bred, and thither the tiger shark could not follow her, as he was used to the tropical seas in which he'd been hatched. He left the whaler when another ship crossed her path and followed the new ship, which was a slow, grain-carrying, 4-masted sailing ship, schooner-rigged. She was from Sweden, and her name was the Björn Andersen. The tiger shark followed her for many days until it happened that a Friday fell on the 13th of the month. Now, as Friday the 13th was notoriously a bitterly unlucky day, the wooden-legged sea cook on board the Björn had felt justified in fortifying himself with rum, and he left his galley to go forward to the forecastle, where one of the hands was known to possess a bottle. Hardly had he left his galley when the Björn ran ahead into a coma and shipped a green sea. The waist-high wall of water swept the cook overboard. The watchful pilot fish darted ahead of the shark, Following his two brightly coloured guides, 206 came upon the unfortunate...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?